And you are live.
Aloha, snack bar, everyone. It's the one, the only, the majestic ape, and the man who is the master of the flux capacitor, CJ. And we are coming to you live on another morning show where we give you the thrills, the chills, and all the spills that keep you coming back for more. With that being said, check us out on roguemoney.net and the Rogue Money Facebook page, as well as at the Rogue Money on Twitter. If you have an iOS device or a Google device, download the podcast, Rogue Money. Also, check us out on Apple News. We're there. We're live. With that being said, CJ, one more thing. Our sponsor is myfreedomnow.us. Myfreedomnow.us. If you're in debt up to your eyeballs and you're thinking about jumping off a bridge and ending your life, or if you think that if you can somehow are being hunted by the very creditors who are after your life, or you think that they're going to ransom one of your children, then you need to call myfreedomnow.us and allow the financial Delta Force to take care of the Osama bin Ladens of your life when it comes to debt. With that being said, CJ, what is crack-a-lacking?
V, I'm not muted. I'm here.
Oh my God, you're not muted for once. You're live, CJ. You're not muted. Thank God, bro.
I broke my consistency, V. I broke it. You gave me a little bit of hint that time though, because you said CJ and then you continued, so it gave me that one extra moment to look up to see that I was still on mute.
That's the key right there when I go CJ.
There we go.
Bro, dude, today is the day, man.
Today's the day. Today is the day, and we talked about this 2 or 3 weeks ago, right?
Vault 7. Yes, we talked about it 2-3 weeks ago. Vault 7.
Good. I'm sorry. Vault 7 is going to be cracked wide open for us today at 9 a.m.
Yeah.
And we're excited to dig in. There's a lot of speculation regarding what's in it. Is it related to Pizzagate? Is it CIA related? They've been sending out lots of hints. So what are your thoughts on it, V?
It could be anything, man. It could be pizza related. It could be CIA related. It could be answers could be C, all of the above. Because my thing is this: I want something to happen already, and I know there's a lot of you out there that are just as impatient as me right now, because we've been fighting through this crap forever. We've been warning people about this crap forever. We've suffered a lot to get to this point, CJ. And I think right now, and I said it yesterday, I think it is high time for somebody to go to jail. A high-profile individual, because I think it will be the greatest thing that will happen. There'll be celebrations in the streets. The American people's morale will go through the roof because they'll finally realize that, hey, you know what? The rule of law applies to everyone, not just those, and it'll apply to everyone, especially those that are in power. And I think it's high time for that, man.
It is, because we have to have a win. We've seen the last several years, V, where we see, whistleblowers that are persecuted, that have to flee the country, and they provide us, love them or hate them, they expose the criminal element, the Assange, the Snowdens, the people that have truly helped to awake the people regarding the corruption that establishes in DC. So here these folks are living in foreign embassies, not allowed to see daylight. And again, I'm saying, wrong or right, I think it's great to expose these things. And then here you see where people like, Jamie Dimon can pay billions of dollars with fines and get off and nothing happened. These people that truly corrupted the entire banking system, the entire economy here in the U.S. And then V, the last several years, how many trillions of dollars have been spent, and that money directly went to the banking cartel?
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. And that's the whole entire thing here, guys. It's, this darkness has to be pulled back. And my thing is this: you can go in there, you could fire departments, you could, purge, the offices of those who were, put there by the prior administration. You can do all those things, but CJ, the equivalent of that is cleaning up the cobwebs, but you're not killing the spiders.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. And it's very deep. It's very entangled. It's going to take a little while, but at the same time, some element has to be drawn out that's going to spread like wildfire and expose the criminality that exists. And I'm hoping that Vault 7, can help accomplish this, with in regards to Syria, in regards to the amount of intervention that's occurred in the deep state with the CIA and the elements of Syria, Ukraine, all these things that we've conducted, Libya. I mean, you name it, you name a country that we haven't been involved. So again, I'm hoping that Vault 7 helps to do this.
Yeah.
And WikiLeaks will be having a press conference today at 8 a.m. It's going to be streamed live. And then at 9 o'clock, they're going to be releasing the passphrase to unlock these files. So I've downloaded a VPN. I've got it on a separate, computer V. So the moment that we have it, we can start digging in and see exactly what is in Vault 7.
Yeah, you know what, man? Absolutely, 1000%. And my thing is this: when we look at Vault 7, this hype behind it. I mean, Vault 7's coming. Vault 7's coming. It has to be earth-shaking. Cannot be just a data dump with just a few things in there. People, hardcore, concrete information needs to come out. Irreparable damage needs to occur. And this is what people like Hillary Clinton doesn't get. I mean, she's already been damaged with the Podesta emails. She's already been damaged, and she's so deluded. And the circle jerkers around her are so deluded, and they're so frightened of her. They tell her, hey, you know what, Hill? The reason why you lost is because you're probably the most corrupt politician that have existed. You have a very poor. People have a very poor view of you. In fact, there are more people that believe in Bigfoot than actually trust you. Okay, and that is why you lost. You lost because you ran, they ran a corrupt politician, probably one of the most corrupt since God knows who. Okay, just horrible. And I remember I tweeted that out to Evelyn Rothschild. She was blaming Podesta, saying, you have allowed a great candidate to lose. I said, no, and I pretty much called her out on that. It was hilarious. But
well, I do have a quick update, V, regarding yes, and this comes to us from Luke at We Are Change, and obviously Luke does a lot of great work there. But apparently, and again, I'm taking this directly from this article, that there appears to be an image hidden behind the vault in the Vault 7 graphics, and it appears to be an image of the Linguia sculpture in Washington D.C. made by Jim Sanborn, and Jim Sanborn just happens to be, and this is located in the Washington Convention Center. He is best known for creating the encrypted crypto sculpture of the CIA headquarters in Langley, Virginia.
Oh, this is getting interesting now.
Yeah, so it'll be very interesting to see exactly, again, direct ties to him, the image behind it. If it's true, again, I'm taking it from this article, and then what they refer to, and again, this is coming from Assange, that he has stated this before, that in regards to year 0, and quote unquote, if any year could be said to be a year 0 in our modern era, it would be 1979. In 1979, it seemed as if the blood would never stop. Dozens of countries saw assassinations, coups, revolts, bombings, political kidnapping, and wars on liberation. Julian Assange wrote in a statement last year on the WikiLeaks website.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. So we'll be here ready to share that information, and we're excited, and hopefully some things will come about it. Not some things, but hopefully some arrests will come about it to expose, what's happened. Now, I think that they've had this for a while, V. I think that they've had this for a while, and I think that with the turmoil in the United States of, who was going to get elected and who wasn't, I think that maybe there was a hesitation. I think the timing is right for them to do this. Everything is very, what WikiLeaks does is very, very well orchestrated, very well maneuvered. So there's no reason that this is being released at this time.
Oh, excuse me, I had to sneeze. Oh my goodness. All right, since we know that spring is around the corner.
Absolutely, and especially on the Hill, you see that, right now people have to understand that the left, and I hate to even call them Democrats anymore. I think they're fascist.
Let's not call them Democrats anymore. Let's just call them libtards and the fascist left.
Yeah, yes, let's do that, because they don't represent the true Democratic Party anymore. They have maneuvered to a complete fascism in regards to a government state that controls everything in our lives. And really, when you look at it, you know, the Russian thing is falling apart. The whole Russian hack and everything is falling apart. And the dangerous thing that we happen now is that, you know, all they can turn to now is massive lies about everything, lying to the American people about everything.
Oh, absolutely, man. And you know, I think it was Kurt Schlichter of townhall.com. He said that he said this. He said, you know, watch the liberals. All they have left is lies. And this is what I said months ago, CJ. Did we not come on the air and we even put a little hand out there to the libtards? Be like, here, libtard, here, take our hand, lest you double down and go extreme far left, lest you go full retard, and then there's no coming back for you. Lest you put all your eggs in one basket, and then take that basket and throw it off a cliff. That's exactly what they've done, bro.
They sure did. Absolutely.
It's all they have left. I mean, this is what Kurt Schlichter of I don't even know how to say his name. Schlichter of townhall.com. This is what he says. He says lying is what they do because that's all they have left. They have no foundational principles except power. Let's dissect that for a little bit. Think about this. Look at the president's address to Congress. What the heck was the left doing? Well, you got a bunch of women in there wearing white for women's suffrage. I didn't know that women didn't have the right to vote.
Yeah, I didn't see all the hurt. I mean,
you know, and then you had everybody sitting down while the wife and the life of a dead Navy SEAL was celebrated. The libtards are all sitting down with like their faces all puffed up. And then on top of that, okay, all there is left for them is Generation Snowflake, women's suffrage. Oh my God, look how irrelevant this is. Women's suffrage, bro. Like this is 1900 again, right? And then, and what is also left is they're just sitting there hyperventilating about Russia. That's it. That's all they have left. Their entire like what Kurt's saying, their entire ideology is transactional. It's not based on ideas, but payoffs. That's exactly what the problem is. And you know, that's what it is. It's like, here's some dough for the baby crunching industry. You know?
Right.
Here's some money for Bob's abortion clinic. You make them, we scrape them. No fetus will defeat us. Okay? We'll hassle some, you know, Christian bakers for the SJWs. You know, let's put a bunch of cis-hating people out there to go ahead and start, you know, talking about white privilege and class and this, that, and the other. It's just the craziest thing in the world, man. They have nothing. It's not even about ideas. It's about payoffs.
Yeah, all they can do right now, because they have no majority anywhere. They have no voice. So right now, all they can do is obstruct. That's their number. Obstruct and lie. That's what they're going to stick to this whole time, is that don't allow any legislative efforts, try to delay everything, try to put up as many obstacles as possible. And we're seeing this played out. And you did say this. You said this several weeks ago that they laid their own noose out for themselves. they tied it and they jumped off that cliff. So again, I think
I mean, how dumb are these people, CJ?
Well, they had an opportunity. They had a very opportunity to reflect and make some changes from this most recent election cycle. But what was the first thing that they did? The first thing that they did was they reaffirmed Nancy Pelosi as the minority speaker in the House. They should have put some fresh blood in there. They had an opportunity. The Democrats were screaming for it. There's a good portion of the Democrats that are trying to restore the party back to its anti-fascist state. But unfortunately, these people have just taken over. Then you see now where they pivot to for their national campaign with, is it Perez or what's that?
Perez.
Perez. They put Perez in, and he's an Obamacare. And again, so this is going to continue, and it's not going to end well for them. And then you have former AG Lynch basically calling out, stating that there needs to be more bloodshed. These people don't understand what the Patriots are capable of. Okay, so they better be very, very careful before they start calling for bloodshed, for violence, because you do not want to talk about the Patriots. They're going to come out, and trust me, it would not end well for them at all.
No. And here's a little demographic snippet for those of you who want to back Generation Snowflake and all you far left libtards that are out there. Demographically, us paleo conservatives, libertarians, and conservatives, we typically have higher testosterone levels than you guys. We're more, we're tolerant. But you start trying to, take our country apart, we're going to put a boot in your ass. We will kick your ass up and down Pennsylvania Avenue. Telling you, please. It's like, these Antifa bullies who are out there, hitting old people and hitting people, from behind. I mean, come on, it's the stupidest thing, dude. It's ridiculous, man. And this stuff, it's all fun and games till they mess with the wrong set of guys.
Absolutely.
So they mess with the wrong set of dudes, and then they're going to get stomped. That's it. And then their little uprising comes to an end.
Absolutely.
These people are nuts. They're calling for more bloodshed. All they're doing is lying. I mean, you name it, man. It's unreal. This is the craziness of the left.
And the thing that people have to understand, by definition, what they're trying to accomplish is terrorism.
It is 1,000% terrorism.
Political gain through violence is the definition of terrorism. So let's call it what it is.
Mm-hmm.
And what are they trying to stop, V? So here, they're trying to stop efforts for, basically to disassembling the federal government. And one great step to accomplish that is by, killing the EPA. Yep. And this is a beautiful thing. I love it how the legislation that gets drafted and written, and most of it is, thousands and thousands upon pages. And this bill introduced to kill the EPA was one sentence, V, that the Environmental Protection Agency shall terminate on December 31st, 2018.
That's the way you write a bill.
Yeah, before our listeners, obviously we care about the environment, right? We care about the environment, preservations for our future generations and everything. But the EPA has just became this bloated organizations creating their own environmental disasters. And that's a known fact. What happened in Colorado and the EPA, when their budgets were threatened to be cut, and they could, they were spending these millions of dollars on these lavish trips. These, 70% of them were surfing porno the entire day at the office. The former EPA official that was didn't report to work for 10 years because he said that he was CIA and nobody checked in on it. I mean, people have to understand what this thing is. It's a monster. It's a dinosaur. And yes, we need to have some environmental protection things in place, but this agency by far has just became bloated, and it's truly a waste of money.
No, the EPA became a pay for play. The EPA became a pay for play, just like the FDA has become a pay for play. The EPA has become a great way for a lot of monopolies and monopolistic corporations to go ahead and shut down their competition on claims of it's harming the environment. The EPA is a great way also that the globalists has used as a vessel in order to curb human development, in order to curb economic development here in the United States. Oh, you can't drill there because you have the Chicago dung beetle that happens to live here out in the Nevada desert, and you can't dig over here because it's an endangered species. Oh, you can't go over there because you can't put. This is the type of stuff that's happens. So what happens is a pay for play. Only the insiders will have access to it. The EPA will stand up to your face and tell you, oh, you can't open up a business here. You can't develop a land here. You can't do this. We're going to find you here. But all of a sudden, a foreign multinational, oh, you want to set up a nuclear waste processing plant right here next to a children's preschool? Sure, come on in. That's the EPA for you. And that, just like most things in this corrupt government, has become a pay for play. That's it. It's not about competition anymore. It's cartelism. And he who has access to the favors is the winner.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And the very discouraging thing is, last night the House Republicans unveiled their bill to repeal and replace Obamacare, which was just an absolute joke, V. I mean, this thing is Obamacare Lite. This thing screams of influence from corporations, from big pharma, from the insurance. This bill accomplishes nothing to reform healthcare in America as far as deregulating the insurance industry. Just a real quick, kind of high level overview. So basically what this does is it eliminates the individual mandate, which is the tax. And and that's what everyone was truly upset for. But what it does do, it also keeps a subsidy in place. In other words, it gives tax credit. And this is the stupidity of the people in DC. Okay, they think that someone makes below $30,000 a year, whatever amount they're going to put on the threshold, that they're going to be able to go out and pay for insurance the entire year and be inspired and hopes that they're going to get a tax credit the following March because they bought insurance. They're not going to buy insurance, people. Why can't they understand this, V, that even if they get a tax credit, and let's say it's $2,000, that's not going to be for the $5,000 or $6,000 it's going to cost them alone just out of premiums for their family. So where in the world do they think that poor people can just put the money up front and then pray and hope for a tax credit? And most of those that live below that poverty line, they don't pay taxes anyway. So it just, again, this is just, and I blame completely Paul Ryan for this. I place the blame squarely on him. He flew to Woonsocket, Rhode Island, and met with CVS Pharmacy Healthcare, and I'm sure they were very concerned because there was a lot of Trump talk about reforming prescription drugs, which I think has really contributed towards the escalation in prices. You shouldn't be able to go to Canada and buy a prescription medication 75% of what retail is, 75% less than what retail is in the United States. Okay. These things that are in place, and this is nothing, a bill that was probably written by lobbyists, by special interests, and I put the blame squarely on Paul Ryan's head, and he needs to go.
Paul Ryan is a shill. He's a jackass. He's a corrupt individual. I mean, who trusts Paul Ryan? This guy's like another Hillary Clinton in the making. Just give me a break. This guy's just unreal. This whole Obamacare, it's not going to work. This whole thing is going to be thrown out and done away with. There's only two mandates Trump says that he wants. Number one is pre-existing conditions, and number two, being able to keep your kids on there a little bit longer than what they should, than what they need to. That's it. Those are the only two things that he wants on there, and then open it up for the states for competition. This is nothing. What is this? This is a joke.
It is a joke.
The whole thing is it's actually discouraging people from ever re-entering the health insurance market, unless of course they get sick or they get hit by a truck. Oh, I need insurance. Well, let me go ahead and get some insurance. It's the most stupidest thing in the world, man. These guys are idiots. Again, showing they're hyperventilating, they're obstructionists. These guys are unreal, man.
Well, it doesn't follow the art of the deal. It doesn't. I'm sure that Trump tasked Paul Ryan to say, hey, he's got to be able to delegate certain things. When you're in that position, you can't manage everything. It's impossible. So I'm sure he tasked, had confidence in Paul Ryan, said, hey, go out, give me a plan. Go work with both sides of the aisle. Let's see what you can come up with. And so I would love to be a fly on the wall in that meeting when he sits down with Paul to go over this, because it has absolutely no reflection upon what Trump campaigned about.
Absolutely, man. 1,000% has nothing to do. Trump's going to rip him a new one. Donald gets mad. He's going to get mad. Watch out.
It'll be like the other day in the Oval Office, right?
Oh, man. He's ripping everybody a new asshole. That's what he's doing. Guy does not play.
What is it with the MSM trying to understand gold prices and gold ETFs? What is it these people do not understand?
Again, these are individuals who have no real clue of how it works. They think the gold market is a stupid, the GLD ETF, which is the most manipulated thing in the world. So these guys are out there saying, gold could go up, gold could go down, and they'll give you these fancy charts. And I see this downward pressure. Bro, it's the whole thing is algorithmically run. So it doesn't matter what downward pressure. It's the powers that be decide to say, hey, you know what? We're going to have some shorts. We're going to make money on the shorts. We're going to make money on the puts. It is what it is, so they're going to make the money regardless. It doesn't matter what charts and graphs you have to track a GLD and, your GLD ETF, because your GLD ETF has nothing to do with the physical gold market. It has nothing to do with it, number one. Number two, the physical gold market is what's going to start dictating the actual price of gold. And that, my friend, is being turned towards the Shanghai Gold Price Exchange, or the Shanghai Gold Exchange and Shanghai Gold Price Fix, which is creating a tractor beam-like pull on the London, London Price Fix, as well as the COMEX. So this whole, look at the GLD. I don't care where the GLD ETF is going. I'm not trading. You know, so if anybody wants to go ahead and trade GLD ETFs like a smart trader like Dex, he'll make money on the shorts. He'll make money on it going down. He'll make money on it going up. But then he takes that and he converts it into physical, and he stashes the physical away. Be smart about it. But in terms of anybody out there saying, "Oh, GLD ETF, it's up, it's down. Oh, look at the spot price up and down," that has no bearing on the physical price of gold. None whatsoever. Jeez, I just wanted to bring that up. And which brings us to the special forces operating out of a French cement factory. What the heck's that all about, CJ?
Yeah. So as you know, Russia has been making massive, inroads, and the Syrian forces are actually taking back a good portion of their country. So this came out that U.S. Special Forces have been, operating out of a French cement factory, and this particular French factory, the company's name Lafarge, had entered into a deal with armed groups, in other words, ISIS, in order to protect its business interest. So now Russia insiders reporting that U.S. forces have been operating out of this, and there's no reason that they should even be anywhere near this or even in the country. So again, this is just the U.S. Army has illegally occupied a cement plant to be used as an airfield in Syria's northeast, and satellite images actually confirm this. There's a helipad that's there for the U.S. Special Forces to operate out of, and apparently they're working between trying to to help the Kurds. Who knows what they're doing, right? I mean, there's no confirmation. Could be training, whatever. But why are they even there?
Well, let's get into, let's unpack this bullshit real quick. Number one, the U.S. has no legal right to be, and they have no legal right to even be there. Period. Not a single person should be there. Period. Okay. Number one. Number two, why use the Lafarge cement factory? Well, it turns out the Lafarge cement factory has very nice relations with USIS. Okay, so you figure that when the Americans start operating out of USIS, and again, I'm looking at the helicopter images here, and sure enough, I could see some outlines of what appear to be either Black Hawk or Baby Bird helicopters that that the special op guys would be using. If you're fighting ISIS, why are you running operations out of a cement factory that has close ties to ISIS, and you're not doing anything about it? And right now, that section of northwestern Syria is currently under Syrian and Russian control. Now they can say, "Well, we're trying to train the Kurds." Well, let's look at that training real quick. The Kurds and the Iraqis are having a really rough time dealing with USIS. Okay, these are U.S. trained personnel. They have a really rough time dealing with ISIS. They have a really rough time, fighting them block by block, street by street. Okay, oftentimes they have to retreat. Compare that to the Russian-trained Syrian Arab army. These guys show up and they take cities in a day. What does that tell you about Russian training versus U.S. training? That's pretty scary. I want you guys to think about that for a second. So, Vlad, if he wanted to, could say, "Oops, we dropped a bomb on the cement factory. Oops, we had some Spetsnaz go in there and carve up your guys. Oops, hey, what do you mean there's U.S. soldiers there? I thought there's no U.S. soldiers operating in Syria." This is the kind of stupidity that occurs. This kind of crap needs to be reined in ASAP.
Yeah, and I'm hoping again that who knows what's in Vault 7, but I'm hopefully that it'll peel everything back to expose how weapons were flowing into Ukraine. Ukraine was used as a weapons hub, to get the weapons into Syria, because obviously they couldn't send U.S. weapons directly to ISIS. So hopefully that accomplishes it. But you're absolutely right. There's no reason to be putting our forces there. There's no right, and this needs to end.
Absolutely, 1,000%. 1,000%. It's got to stop, man. And the whole thing also is that we had we have no right to be there. Number one. Number two, what Russia's doing. Okay, they've taken the Kurds and they united them with the Syrians. They're fighting USIS, and they're also pushing the Turks out of northern Syria. At the same time, they're taking the Turks and manipulating them to be under the power and influence of Iran, which is under the power and influence of the Russians and the Chinese. That's how you play a chess game, bro.
Absolutely.
Like a boss, he is.
Like a boss, and when you have your attention in war and everything else, look what happens. China unseats the Eurozone as the world's largest banking system, B.
There you go. This was long in coming.
Yeah, so again, these are estimates, but Chinese bank assets at $33 trillion. Easily, versus the entire Eurozone, which is full of debt, right? I don't even think it's an accurate comparison to even consider that they have these assets of $31 trillion and then benchmark that against U.S. assets at $16 trillion and $10 trillion in debt.
Yeah, exactly. The $20 trillion in debt with supposedly a $16 trillion economy where 50% of that GDP number is nothing but reshuffled debt. I mean, this is one of the only countries in the world where government expenditures counted as GDP growth. How stupid is this? This is insanity. We probably have anywhere between I'd say between a 5, maybe a $6 trillion economy at the most, man. That's it. The rest is all hyperinflated phantom wealth. Period. The Chinese, man, we've been saying it for a while. ICBC, largest investment bank in the world. Top 3 of the 5 largest investment banks on the planet are Chinese. The banking system is China's biggest, sector of its economy is the banking system.
Yeah, I remember you've said that for so long, and I remember specifically stating that most Americans think of China just as manufacturing, that child labor and making cheap electronics, and then boom, this comes out. China's the world's largest banking system, so there's no doubt that that's definitely validation.
Absolutely, 1,000%. So that being said, CJ, we are at the end of the program, and we await the release of Vault 7. And if you're waiting for the release of Vault 7, keep it tuned to roguemoney.net, where CJ and I will be breaking it down and explaining what the heck is Vault 7. So keep it tuned here, folks. CJ, give out your closing comments, brother.
Yeah, absolutely. Everyone make sure to check back with us 2 o'clock. If we start to get some information, B and I potentially may go live with another report, maybe, if whatever comes out. We're anxiously awaiting for Vault 7. And then other than that, make sure, again, we're trying really hard to drive our fan base. So if you could, please make sure you share in your social networks, our website, our YouTube channel. Show us some love and make sure, again, that you subscribe. And then also our website, enter your email address in your website. We got some exciting things going to do with some exclusive, with some email blast, giving you some information. So make sure you register your email address at roguemoney.net.
Yep, absolutely. And with that being said, folks, this is V the Guerrilla Economist and my main man, CJ. We are over and we're out. Take it away, CJ.